Hello everyone, it's Kelly here from Spiritual Awakening Signs, coming to you today with a new spiritual update. So this is a very exciting video. I'm keeping you updated with all the new shifts that we're seeing energetically and spiritually right now, so that you're right at the forefront of Ascension and Spiritual Awakening. So we're going to get into that in a moment. But if you don't know me, I'm Kelly from Spiritual Awakening Signs, and I help people to spiritually awaken, to fully embody their higher self, and to activate and awaken their spiritual gifts and abilities at any stage, whether you're just looking and wanting to begin the spiritual awakening process, or whether you've been on that journey for a while. I can help. And we're starting today with an all new video on meditation. Meditation is over. Meditation is done. We don't need meditation anymore, and I'm going to explain a bit more about that in the video so that you can get an understanding of how exciting a time it is and how much we are shifting forward energetically. Because what that really means for you in your awakening is that there are certain things that you may have been doing before that are now no longer necessary. You can still do them if you choose, but they're no longer necessary. So we're going to get into that today. And anyone who's on the video, please do say hello. Let me know who you are and where you're from. I'd love for you to say hello. And we'll get into some of this really exciting content, because I can't wait to share it with you. I'm getting updates all the time from my guides. I'm getting information all the time from my guides. So I can't wait to share it with you and help you to move forward as easily and quickly as you can on that spiritual progression pathway. So please do say hello. I can see that we've got Melissa already. We've got Jackson from Toronto. Awesome, guys. Please say hello, and we'll get into some of the content. I'm delighted for you to join us. But really what I'm wanting to go into today is the fact that meditation is over. Meditation in a traditional sense is completely over. It's no longer necessary for you to meditate. And things have really changed. There's a new way of ascension now. The route that we were taking to ascension has completely adjusted. It's completely changed almost overnight, and we're seeing some huge shifts forward energetically and huge shifts in the awakening process that we just did not expect. So we knew something was coming. I think a lot of us knew something was coming, but we didn't know it was going to be to this degree. So it's really it's a big deal. I can see Carolyn has joined us from Australia. Hello, hello. And June, Australia as well. Fantastic. So let's get into some of this. Meditation is over. And meditation in the traditional sense, and by that I mean sitting for hours at a time, tuning in, trying to relax, and trying to keep that focus for a long extended period of time, it's over. Now when I say that it's over, I'm going to explain why you don't need it anymore. Now you might still choose to meditate because you enjoy it, that's okay, but we're not using it to propel us further forward on the awakening pathway or to catalyse an awakening. That time has changed, okay? Now, it used to be the old way to enlightenment. Meditation was the route that we always took throughout thousands of years to get to enlightenment, because what it meant was that we would sit in a quiet state, and you would see these old yogis. You hear these stories about yogis who meditated in caves or under trees for a really long time, and they would have practices sometimes that lasted years. You know, they would go into this state where meditation became their entire way of life. And we did that so that we could catalyse awakening. So what they were trying to do is get themselves into a theta brainwave. So it's a different cycle of the brain. When you get into a theta brainwave, you are in a state of deep relaxation. But more than that, you're in a state of deep relaxation and recuperation, healing, rejuvenation. But you're also putting yourself in a state where you are absolutely awake up here. You're really open, your psychic senses are really open, and you're really connected to source. So that was the reason why these yogis would practice for such a long time. That's the state they were trying to get to. Now, that has become outdated because we no longer need that. We can access a theta brainwave in moments. In literal moments. Every time you do one of our energy healing meditations, you're going into a theta brainwave in moments, okay? I'm performing the healing, I'm going into a theta brainwave in moments. So the use of meditation to get us to that state over, hours at a time to get into a theta brainwave has now surpassed it. We don't need it anymore, okay? So for that particular purpose, the time is gone. We don't need that. We can get into a theta brainwave very quickly. We can connect to source very quickly. It's instant. It's instant. There's no gap anymore, okay? And the other thing is that we're not using it to develop our psychic skills and abilities anymore. So a lot of people, including me on the awakening pathway, that was how I tried to develop myself. I would meditate, oh my gosh, for like 2 hours every single day, and it became like a really serious practice. It was like, I want to move forward in the awakening pathway. I'm going to do what other people have done. I'm really going to focus in spiritually, and I'm going to move forward. Now, at the time, that may have been helpful, because what it does was it allowed us, in the state that the current the energies were in, to attune ourselves to source, to attune ourselves to that higher part of ourselves, and we could relax and focus enough that we could kind of make that connection and reach up there. But it's changed, because what's happened over the last few months is we have shifted really from a 3D vibration into a 5D vibration. We have shifted the resonance that we are kind of energetically at all the time. You must know this. There's a big shift. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on just now, but there's a lot of internal shifts. There's a lot of energy shifts, and there's a lot of kind of high vibrational energy coming into the planet and into our energies. Things are changing, and do let me know below if you've picked up on that, if you sensed that something was changing, even if you didn't know what it was. We've been picking up on this for a really long time. So really, before, we were in a 3D vibration, and we needed to get to some form of a higher vibration, 5D or higher. So when we were meditating for spiritual progression, we were aiming to get to a higher vibration. Well, now the gap has closed, okay, because we're not really in that 3D lower vibration anymore. We're generally in this higher vibration. We're 5D or above. We're resonating at a much higher vibration. So there's no need to tune into that level to be able to do that. And the other thing is that, like we spoke about in the last few videos, there's no need for you to meditate for hours in order to access your spiritual gifts and abilities. Really, what we were doing there was trying to develop them, trying to practice this energy so much that we would get to a state where it was freely accessible to us, and that took a long time. So people practiced and went through spiritual awakening, sometimes for 20 years of their life. It was slow. They were moving through the 3D energies, and everything in the 3D energy is very slow. It takes a long time. Now, if you can shift yourself into that higher vibration, everything's a lot faster. Things come around a lot more quickly. You don't need the time it takes to develop. Now, the cool thing about what's going on right now is you no longer need to develop those skills. You just need to activate them. They're already a part of you, and we're starting to remember aspects of ourselves that we've been in past lives a long time ago, when we've had abilities like healing abilities, intuitive abilities, psychic skills, connection to source. All that stuff is starting to come back to us. Now, the thing is, it's shifted in a way that we no longer need to meditate, we need to activate. So I've said that before, it's not about meditating to get to where you want anymore. That's just it's a nice thing you can do if you want to do it because you enjoy it. Okay, so use it more like something you do because you genuinely enjoy it. It's no longer about using it to activate, to awaken, to move forward, or to get into a particular state of brainwave, because we can do all that in moments now. It's getting so much easier. Are you guys following what I'm talking about here? Am I making sense? Is there anything I can clarify for you guys? And if you have any questions, let me know, because I'll spend some time at the end and we'll talk about these things. I can see Melissa has asked, are theta frequencies good to listen to? That's not something I've particularly done. It may be helpful, but what I would say is, again, it's another thing that it's like, okay, you need to listen to something to get where you're going. This is the thing that I want everyone to understand. All the stuff that we did before, the practices, the ceremonies, the little rituals that we needed to use to get where we wanted to go, are now becoming null and void. They don't exist anymore. They're not required, okay? So anything you're thinking, right, there's where I want to get to. I want to get to the point where I can be in a theta brainwave, connect to source, use my psychic skills and abilities. If you're thinking of how can I get there, and it involves something like having to listen to music, or having to practice something a certain way, or meditate for hours, or maybe you're doing yoga moves, or you're working with energy, whatever it is, you don't need to do that anymore. It's becoming an instant thing, and I'm going to keep you updated with everything my guides are sharing with me so that you can do that in a moment, because it's your birthright. It's a natural part of who you are. We've just forgotten those parts for a little while. It's not that they don't exist, and it's not that you need to develop them at all. They're already there. You already have incredible skills and abilities. It's just that they've been forgotten, they've been suppressed, and it's time for them start to kind of awaken back up, start to come through. So again, I can see Carolyn's asking, solfeggio frequencies. Solfeggio frequencies are great, but again, you don't need, this is the thing, and it's hard to get your mind around because it's a 3D belief system that you have to use something to get into a spiritual state. You're already there. Carolyn, you're already there. Melissa, you're already there. Everyone, you're already there. You don't need to use those things. And I can see Melissa saying, thank God, because they give me massive headaches and make me sick. You see, what's happening now is that they're not, they don't fit with the new energies that we're in. So now what you're going to find is that they have some sort of other effect. They either don't take effect or they have some sort of other effect, because they only really applied when we were in the 3D energy. Now that we're in this kind of higher vibrational state, they have a different effect, or they have no effect at all. So these would be good signs for you that something is outdated, something's not working anymore, and you can access that stuff much more quickly than you would think. Okay, is this making sense? Are you understanding? You don't need anything other to get where you're going. You just don't need it. I can see Kajardo's asking, did we skip over 4D to 5D? Well, interestingly, 4D is not necessarily a skip, because we are 4D. 4D is the state that we generally resonate in. It's plants, animals, and life. Okay, so 4D is where we usually resonate, really as a spiritual state, if you can consider it that way. And 5D is getting a bit higher. So 5D is more like the kind of spiritual level where you can connect to your ancestors, your family members that have passed over. You can connect to spirit guides. We're starting to move into that energy. But the weird thing is that it can make you feel as if you're looking around for something to change physically. It's not going to change physically. It's going to change in the way that you pick things up, in the way that you intuit things, in the way that wisdom comes through. The outside world isn't going to look any different, and that's what throws people. That's what makes you feel as though nothing's really changed. But you can't look at it through the physical level, because the physical level's got nothing to do with it. It's happening up here and it's happening in here. It's a different level of existence, and the outside world isn't going to look any different. It's just that your intuition and your abilities and what you can do within that realm are going to be different for you. So really, really exciting time. So let me just check I haven't missed anything. So yeah, so we're not going to need meditation anymore. Meditation is over. Unless you want to do it because you enjoy it, you don't need meditation, and you don't need any other type of spiritual practice or ceremony to do what you want to do. So if there's something you're wondering, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Just ask me in the comments, and I'll clarify it for you, because I want everyone to really grasp this. This is a time where we can catapult forward in such a huge way. I don't want you to miss anything about this, and I don't want you to feel that it's complicated, because it's really not. Okay. Let's see, so have I missed anything else? So we don't need it for activating your awakening. We don't need it because we are globally activating. You see, this is happening on such a huge scale right now, huge scale. And what's really happening is we're getting a lot of people just kind of spontaneously awakening, or their awakening is speeding up. They're getting shifted forward an extra level, being scooting forward, so to speak. So we no longer need the meditation to get us to that state where we can awaken, because it's happening all over the world already. It's not going to take a really long time anymore. It's going to happen instantly. It's going to happen very quickly. We also don't need it for developing your spiritual, your psychic, your intuitive, or your healing abilities, because they already exist within you. And the energy that we're in, when you shift into a higher vibration, it gives you so much more access to other things that exist within the soul that you couldn't get when you were in that kind of 3D, 4D energy, that lower vibrational energy. There's only so much you can access when you're there. When you start shifting a little bit higher, which we're all collectively doing, the whole planet is raising the vibration right now. When you start to tune into that energy, there's all these other aspects and parts of your soul that you have access to that you didn't have before. It's almost like developing an extra sense. It's like, oh, I just didn't realise that was there. I didn't see it before. I didn't recognise it. When you shift into that higher vibration, which the whole planet is doing, new things start to become aware. They start to become known to you, and it starts to shift. So you are drawing forth your gifts and abilities. You don't need to develop them, and you don't need to spend hours, months, years doing all the meditation stuff. And I'll tell you why I know that is because it's shifted for me. I haven't had a meditation practice for about 2 years. No meditation. There might have been the odd time where I thought I'll meditate because it's relaxing, but probably less than a handful of times. I don't meditate anymore. There's no need for me to meditate anymore. And that's not because I've got anything different from you guys. You're on the same path. It's just that it's not necessary for me to use meditation to get to where I want to be spiritually. And there's no need for you to use meditation to get to where you want to be spiritually either. And it's not that it's going to take a long practice. It's not that I'm any different. You have all the same skills and abilities. It's just a matter of, as the energies start to raise and you start to put things in place, they'll become known to you. So it's all going to start to shift in a really exciting way. It's really a fantastic time. It really is. So what we want to talk about now is, if you're not using meditation, what should you be using instead? What things are important now? What's different now that the energies have changed? So now that the earth energies have changed, we're no longer in that lower vibration. We're kind of shifting into this higher vibrational frequency. We've shifted out of the old outdated ways of reaching enlightenment and moving forward in the spiritual pathway. So like I said before, we don't need meditation. We don't really need any type of practice at all. We're just starting to resonate that little bit higher. So if there's anything that you're concerned about, you want to ask about, please ask. There's no silly questions, and I'm happy to help. So all of that has shifted. It's now no longer necessary. You can do it if you want, but it's no longer necessary to get to where you're going. And quite often you'll find these things just kind of stop having effect because the energies have changed. So the things that governed making that appropriate and making it effective have kind of shifted now. Okay, so we're really changing. Like I said before, still enjoyable, still nice things to do if you want to do that. You want to chill out. Meditation can be lovely, but not needed anymore, not required to move forward. And if you have any questions, please ask. I'll spend some time and answer them. So what you want to be doing instead is you want to be healing. That's really the main focus. You want to be healing. The best thing you can do is energy healing, because energy healing is going to allow you to clear, to activate, to program your energies, and that's what's really important, okay? It's about supporting your energies now so that they can understand the new energies coming in, so that they can process the new energies coming in, and so that you can access the different parts of your soul that have now become available to you, okay? So what you really want to focus on is healing. Healing is the key. You don't need to practice for long periods of time. You just use some energy healing, and what we'll really do is we'll clear the things that are getting in the way. So the blocks that are in the way, because that can happen, of your spiritual connection, let's say. Sometimes we have blocks in the way. Sometimes we have past life experiences, or we have fears, we have negative beliefs, we have things that get in the way of us having that crystal clear connection where you're getting all the information that you need. That can happen. So we're going to be clearing those out of the way, removing those blocks so that that connection to source is absolutely clear. Then you're really going to get accurate information. Then you're really going to be able to trust what you get. And you're going to know that it's coming from a source that is absolutely trustworthy, because that's important as well. We'll talk about that in another video, but you want to make sure that the source you're getting it from is trustworthy, okay? Clearing all those things out, healing the issues that have gotten in the way before, healing the pains that might have happened in past lives that stopped you from using those gifts and abilities, that stopped you from really stepping into your power, because they still exist in the soul. And as we shift into this higher vibration, you're going to find some more emotional issues coming up because they exist from other times. So you might find that you have more fear than usual, you might have more anxiety than usual, you might feel a sense of depression, your emotions might be all over the place because you've shifted into higher vibration and new stuff in the soul has become available to you. Do let me know if you're noticing these moods, emotions, feelings, all this stuff starting to rise to the surface. And if you are, you're probably right on track because you're starting to clear. That's what we're doing. So we want to clear, we want to heal, but we also want to activate. So like I said before, it's not about long practices to do these things. It's about putting the right programs in place. So what we're doing when we do that with our energy healing is we're tuning into your energy system. We're switching things back on. So things that you've switched off, psychic skills and abilities that you've had from previous lifetimes that you've switched off, that you've suppressed, that you've hidden on some other level. You won't even consciously remember it, but you've hidden it to keep yourself safe. We just start to switch them back on. And then what we do is program your energies so that your energies understand what to do with the new stuff that's coming in, how to use them again. That's what it's really all about. And it all comes down to energy healing. It's the new key. You don't need meditation anymore. Traditional meditation is done, but you just want to do some energy healing, okay? And of course, energy healing you can do. We've got tons of videos, free and paid. We've got lots of different resources there for you. There's plenty there to help you work through any block or any shift that you want to move through. And of course, we'll be doing free energy healing videos quite often here, so make sure you click to be notified so that when we go live you're getting the energy healing, or you can watch the replay. So let's have a look and see, is there anything else that I've missed? I want to make sure I'm getting all this information because my guides are just like bombarding me with this stuff right now, and I want to make sure that you guys get all the information you need to move forward. I think that's everything. Yes, so we'll answer some questions and then we'll finish up for today. So let's see. Oh, hi Julie, I can see Julie's joined us, fantastic. Okay, so I can see that Jackson's saying, did realise my fear affected my mood, and what was that, like that, to what was going on, but I didn't know on the surface. And I think that happens for us. Sometimes there's all this stuff bubbling up on the surface, you know, there's like more intense emotions or stuff that we're just not quite in touch with, and then it all kind of erupts. It just has to come up, and it's your soul trying to find a way of clearing all this stuff. It's under a lot of pressure right now, the soul. It's not easy. Julie says she found she was getting angry, so anger coming up, and again, you don't know, could be this lifetime, could be past lifetimes, could be genetic stuff coming up. We've got a lot of genetic healing going on right now, a lot of stuff through the timeline. Trauma's looking to be resolved, so you might be feeling some emotions from that as well. Cajardo says, I had a huge emotional burst on Sunday that scared me. It's natural. This is the thing. It's absolutely understandable that it would scare you when these emotions come up, because they come up and they come up intense. They're really, really powerful emotions when they rise up. But what I want you to know is that it is natural part of life, just as a standard, that you have all these different emotions. Everyone's just used to trying to look as if nothing bothers them. We're human. We are empathic beings and we're sensitive souls, and we do get bothered by intensity. We do get bothered by emotions. That's natural. But as part of awakening, you're going to have emotions come up that are larger than life. They're bigger than what you're used to dealing with, and that can be scary. So you want to make sure that you just keep yourself as grounded as possible. Try and focus on the present moment. Try and do things that are enjoyable, that take your attention, that try and keep you focused. And of course, you can always use any of our energy healing videos. You've got tons on our Facebook page, tons on our YouTube channel, tons in our school, which is on Teachable Spiritual Awakening Signs. There is literally a huge library of everything you could possibly need throughout the awakening process, and all different types of emotion. And just do some healing on it. Do some healing, give yourself a little bit of time, 20 minutes or so, to do the healing with one of the energy healing videos, and then move on and do something different and give yourself the space. Really, really important. That's the best way to clear that. I can see Laura says, yes, anxiety and worry lately. Really big energies coming up just now. Everyone's feeling that, and we're really purging a lot of this kind of darker emotion that exists in the soul. Like I said, moving into that higher vibration, it's like, oh, whoa, there's all this new emotional baggage that we didn't realise we had. We're getting access to it now. So don't be frightened by it. Just try to keep yourself as calm and as balanced as you can. Do some nice things for yourself. Take care of yourself, and know that it's just a natural part of the awakening journey. And of course, use any of our meditations. We've got tons of free ones that you can use. You don't need to be stuck. Melissa says, my emotions, feelings, thoughts and moods are everywhere. Oh, it's really tough in awakening when that happens. Carolyn says, I've got a very short fuse at the moment. I just have to breathe and count to 10 before speaking. That's very good advice. Very good advice. Take a little moment to bring yourself together. Julie says, I lost my daughter a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Julie. We're all sending you some healing energy. So I've had a lot of emotions surfacing. And you know, I'd like to take a little moment to do that right now. Let's, maybe we could all join together and just send Julie some healing energy to help her cope and to help her move through this and be supported. So Just taking a little moment and we're just tuning into your energy, Julie. And let's send, first of all, some grounding, some energy to bring you some support, to bring you some stability right now. And as we send this to Julie, we'll also send it to everyone watching. Bringing in that grounding energy and then bringing in some compassion. Bringing that compassion into the heart space to support your heart right now. To remind you that you're not alone. And let's also ask the guides to support you in your grieving process. To bring you comfort. And also let's ask them to bring you signs that will help to guide you at this time. To help lead you forward. To support and comfort you further. And just take a little moment to come back around and just know that we are all sending our support to you right now, Julie, and thank you for everyone joining us in that and taking a moment to send that energy and receive some healing too. You are very welcome, and I'm so sorry that you're having such a difficult time. That must be really just unimaginable. So just know that you've got our support here, and you can come to our energy healing meditations and lots of our videos anytime. And I know that the people in this group and the people who follow this work are all really supportive of each other, so you've got some good people on standby for you. So I think that's us for today. If you have any questions, you can pop them below and I will answer them afterwards. And I just want to thank you all for watching. I hope that this helps and helps you move forward through this really kind of shifting time that we're in. A lot of spiritual progression can really be made. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.